And hello, good day to everyone. My name is RJ Hubilo Dumale, bringing you this podcast along March 10, 2024. So this video is just an appreciation video about social responsibility and civic duty. So let's have a background experience first. So I am a student and I use Angkas for my daily commute, going to school and back and forth, going back home. Because of the busy street and peak hours of commute, I always choose Angkas or ride-hailing apps when it comes to my mode of transportation. Why is it? It's because of the traffic along the highway, which means if I'm going to go with the jeep, I'm going to be late because I don't wake up early. So it's important, and I heavily rely when it comes to ride-hailing apps. So this video is a reflective video about ride-hailing apps such as Angkas, Move It, Joyride, and let's include as well as the Lalamove and Grab ride-hailing apps. Let's generalize that. And along of my attention that grabs my attention when it comes to highways is that those who take care of the plants and trees along the highway. So if you go to somewhere in Mindanao Avenue, you will see the street gardeners or local or barangay gardeners when it comes to maintaining the plants and trees along the highways and of course fertilizing it. So there are three questions that I will tackle today. So why did I choose that profession? So Angkas and being a local gardener, what is the importance of their profession in our society? And what will happen if those Angkas and gardeners disappear? So let's first tackle the first question. So why did I choose Angkas and Gardener? So let's go first with the ride-hailing app. So Angkas is very significant for everyone. It is an alternative mode of transportation, especially during peak hours. It solves a major percentage when it comes to the major issue of transport when it comes to congestion or having a traffic congestion along highways or busy streets. And because of Angkas, it is a very reliable application or ride-hailing apps when it comes to transportation. It is also a heavy and major reliability when it comes to delivery, such as our day-to-day deliveries, such as our Shopee, our Lazada, our TikTok shop. These shops utilizes and heavily rely when it comes to delivery using motorcycles. So I also consider them as a ride-hailing app. So it really involves heavily on economic, because it is important that people go to destination A to B and as well as receiving their daily needs and consumption as well as their service that it provides. So not only that it affects relevance to daily life but also socio-economic impacts. So because of transportation, it heavily impacts the economic movements of people from day-to-day jobs, day-to-day deliveries and such. And Angkas is very convenient. So Angkas not only provides a convenient mode of transportation but also serves as a source of livelihood for thousands of individuals who work as Angkas riders or ride-hailing apps. So how about for gardeners? I chose gardeners because I always see them along public highways and I always think about what goes through their day and how are they managing to take care of the plants in the middle of the strongest heat of the sun. And it really I think about my capability compared to them, how they are surviving throughout the day. And I choose that because I think it's important that there are trees and plants along public highways, and it is important that we are still maintaining and valuing environment, because along highways it's really hot, and I think trees and such and plants are one of a place where most motorcycles stop by, because to shade themselves away from the heat of the sun, and it's really nice to the environment when it comes to having plants and trees along the highways. So let's tackle the second question for this podcast, is what is the importance of their profession or job in our society. So the role of angkas riders is really significant in Philippine society. So Philippines is a very congested country when it comes to traffic, especially in peak hours, and their importance is that they are very major and most renowned when it comes to deliveries, transportation, and services. So it offers day-to-day transportation as a mode of transportation. It is also a mode for deliveries. So ride-hailing apps is important because it reaches destinations faster, saving time, saving energy, as well as contributing to reducing traffic congestion by utilizing motorcycles. So especially when it comes to emergencies from point A to point B, angkas or ride-hailing apps are always a relied applications and services. As for gardeners, their importance to the society is, of course, they are helping to the environment. It helps everyone when it comes to pollution, because our country is very polluted when it comes to smoke. So having trees and plants along the highways somehow gives motorcycle riders the fresh air, and as well as those who walk along the pathways, those who are using bicycles for their commute along the highways. It helps that having plants and trees as a shade for heat, as well as reducing the pollution of the country along the highways. So it minimizes the heat along the highways. So imagine that in the middle of the noon, as well as the heat that comes from bus and trucks and cars, it's really hot on the highway. So it's important that having a street gardener who maintains the plant and trees along the highways is taken care of and acknowledged. So the third question is, what will happen if angkas or ride-hailing apps and public local gardeners are just disappeared from the government? So let's think of the perspective, not only our perspective but also their perspective. So first of all, for our perspective, it impacts the commuters when it comes to angkas and delivery. Imagine that our country doesn't have motorcycle delivery of our parcel, of our products. It doesn't have the capability to deliver food using motorcycle if there are no motorcycle hailing apps. We cannot order through Grab and Food Panda, as well as we don't have a daily transportation of motorcycle. We don't have Move It, we don't have angkas and joyride. Imagine that we live back like that, and how much it would impact our day-to-day living. How it impacts our day-to-day living if we don't have motorcycle apps, and how it impacts the economy because of it affects the individual day-to-day life of a person. So imagine how it impacts the transportation, the deliveries, and these services, if we don't have these services, how it would impact the consumers and commuters. But the most important part is how it impacts employment, loss of employment. So imagine that you would take away thousands and thousands of workers using Lala Move, using Joyride, using Angkas, using Food Panda, using Grab. How much if this specific job disappeared, so it would lose their source of income and potentially leading to a financial difficulty for them, and as well as for the economic impact. It could impact tourism as well, as Angkas is often used by tourists to navigate around cities. So I am really touched about the CEO of Angkas when it comes to his speech about his riders. So it is about what is the ambition of his riders. So George Royeka asked his motorcycle riders is what is their dream: to be very successful, to be top of the game, to have an impact. So they said the ambition of most PUV or most of his riders, their ambition is to put food on the table. And can you imagine it? Putting food on the table is not ambition. Should be not the ultimate goal of the family. It should be the right of every citizen, and we should provide a system that affords them the right to take care of their family so that they can chase a higher ambition, an ambition of success, an ambition of love and caring, an ambition of seeing their kids go to school and become more successful than them. Can you imagine that we live such impoverished conditions that even our ambition is small, and that is the problem. So moving on with the podcast, as for gardeners, it is same as well. If they lose their profession, how it would impact not only our economy but the families of these workers, the family of the gardeners. Our environmental would be majorly affected if we don't have gardeners around our local parks, along the public highways, if no one to maintain and take care of trees and plants along the highways and parks. How much it would be hotter along the urban areas if there were to be no gardeners who would take care along this most hottest place. And since our country is tropic, how much it would affect if we don't take care or no one take cares of our plants and trees. So it is really important that we appreciate these kinds of services and we don't belittle such those who only have an ambition to put food on the table. And it's really a problem that most of us face, and we do not realize that if such one service or one work is just disappears and you take everything away from them, how much it would affect their ambition. If their ambition is only to put food on the table and you take it away from them, then as that very very small ambition, and then you will take away their opportunity of where that small ambition comes from. Imagine that you're taking away a small ambition from that opportunity that they heavily rely on, and that is the sad reality along our country. So it is important that we acknowledge our riders, our gardeners. We appreciate and take care of them. We give tips. So tips are not necessarily, but it goes a long way. It goes a long way how we help these people who have a responsibility that we sometimes do not see for ourselves. But if you would think about it, how much they are contributing to the environment, to the economy, and lastly, how they contribute to their family, how they achieve such small ambition, and we are taking that away from them. So we must be reflective. We must think not only about ourselves, but we also think about who is going to be affected, and that is how important their social responsibility and civic duty when it comes to serving as well as providing service to the day-to-day lives of the people around this nation. So this where it would end for this podcast, and thank you very much. And once again, I'll see you in our next podcast. Goodbye and stay safe.